Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about the 100, episode 502, titled The Red Queen, which premiered Tuesday, May 1st, 2018 on the CW. I'm recording roughly 20 minutes after the episode was aired for me, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. My other video reminders are up on screen. Take a moment to remind yourselves of those. Also, a quick shout out to Mr. Legendary AO. Left a comment on my previous video. Truly appreciate that, as well as your subscription. So I hope you come back and check this video and my future videos out for the 100 or my other stuff as well. But anyways, so spoiler alert, going to try to do this in 10 minutes. Going to start with the 10-minute clock. And let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, we are kicking off 46 days after 413, which is 46 days after Prime Fire happened, the death wave, whatever you want to call it. If you want a little marker of last week's episode, the 46th day was when Clark tried to get the bunker door open before the remains of the tower collapsed on it, and she narrowly escaped. So that's a kind of a lineup there. A huge episode reminder, though, is Octavia making her claims as the Red Queen. She's not called the Red Queen in the actual episode, but it's fitting considering she's going to be the commander with red blood, which is usually night blood, though, instead. But anyways, huge episode objective, though, is uniting the clans of one crew. This episode solely takes place in the bunker. So, which leads me to my episode breakdown. Because of that, there's only the one main storyline. There's nothing to do with the ground, which is Clark, Maddie, and the prisoner transport. Nothing to do with the Ark with Bellamy and the rest up on the Ark ring. Solely based on the bunker. And with it, we see majority of Sky Crew taking the farm station of the bunker as hostage after realizing that the door is sealed and they don't really have enough food to share with everybody to last them 5 years, and that's if they get out and find a way, because of the door being sealed, which they figured out that's the only way in or out of the bunker. So in light of this news, they take the farm for themselves so that they can live however they want instead of down to half rations if everybody had to have food. So because of this, it kind of incites a riot. In this moment, though, Octavia, who beforehand didn't want anybody to be killed for the pettiest of things, like stealing blankets and whatever, but she does give a punishment. She kills those who are the enemy of one crew as they try to deal with the hostage situation with Farm Station. But in light of all this, anyone who instigated that whole hostage takeover are the first ones to deal with Octavia's new form of punishment, and that is the gladiator fights, stating that even though you are enemies of one crew, you have the chance to fight for your freedom with conclave rules. So only one to survive, and you have to kill everyone to do so. So there's that. Also, we see Gaia accepting Octavia as the new commander, stating that she's the one that saved them all by taking them all into the conclave. She's the one who saved them from starvation now with this whole hostage with the farm section. And Gaia believes that it will be Octavia who will take them to the ground once again. So there's that. Also, with the gladiator rules, though, in that first round, we see Kara Cooper, the one who instigated the whole farm takeover. She wins her conclave fight, or her version of the conclave fight, because in the flash forward, it shows her as one of Octavia's soldiers standing parallel to where Miller is standing by Octavia's side. So there's that, and which leads to the last moments of the episode, which is 6 years later. It's a very brief moment, our present day, technically, for them. And we see Kane being at one of the convicted challengers in the next gladiator punishment fight. And it looks like Indra notices and might be worried, and Octavia notices as well. So there's that. So tidbit-wise, though, we do not get any news from Clark or about the group on the Ark ring, though we do see Clark's attempt to try to get into the bunker from 501, as I mentioned, to kind of show what the source of the sound they were hearing, and that was Clark trying to get to them. But that's all we see of Clark in the episode, which is old footage anyways. Also, we see Jaha dying and having Octavia promise him that she'll take care of Ethan. So there's that. Jaha dies from an injury wound to the stomach, but he does so after helping them reclaim the farm section. And he is sent off with the Sky Crew, may we meet again prayer. Also, we see Octavia training with Miller, shown at the very beginning of the episode, and we also have her mention her training with Nyla. We don't see that, though. Also, apparently, Abby is taking pills for something. I didn't quite catch what it was specifically, just that she doesn't appreciate Jackson talking about it with Kane. So there's that. Now, ship status-wise, with Abby and Kane, we find out that Abby hasn't really forgiven Kane in the last 46 days since he saved her against her will, which is like the stupidest thing to be angry over, considering it was the end of the world. But yeah. Also, she does bring up the fact, she does have him question why he truly saved her, because he claims it's because she was a doctor and he would have saved her even if he didn't love her. But then she brought up the fact that he wanted to float her on the Ark and she was still a doctor there. So it's like his feelings for her definitely influenced saving her and stuff. So there's still tension between them. I'm not sure at the end of the 46-day section if they were on the mend, but I have no idea where they are in the future if Kane is fighting for his life now in the gladiator fights. But also, Miller and Jackson, we get confirmation that not only are they together, but they have said I love you to each other, or at least ways why they love each other. So there's that. No clue how they are in the 6 years later part, but at least in the 46 days marker, they were together. So there's that. So moving on to the most shocking moment of the episode, I would have to say I am surprised that Jaha died in the 46-day marker. I heard news that he was going to be stepping away from the show. I guess the only way to do that in this capacity of a show is to die off. I just didn't expect it to be in like the 46-day marker. I kind of expected it to be like in the present day, the 6-year future mark type of thing. But anyways, also another shocking one was the fact that we got to see the formation of the gladiator fights. I'm so glad we got to see how that formed, because that's how we ended off in the previous episode with a huge question of what the hell is happening. But it's surprising to see what had to come about in order for that to start. So moving on to top 3 favorite moments. Absolutely love Octavia's moment of proving not only that she is a true warrior, but also that she will stand by her claim when taking the leadership, and that is her moment of saying, you are Wankru or you are the enemy of Wankru, and choose. So she says that repeatedly after everyone tries to fight her, and she kills them one by one. Yes, it's gruesome, and then have her like just covered in their blood. It's very telling in a clan that is 12 out of 13 of them have solely lived off of violence, to see that this is a commander who will do the dirty work. She will not have people do it for her. She has the skills and she will stick by her claim, especially when for the previous 46 days she's made it clear that no one's going to die. Like, she wants to preserve all life. She doesn't want to be the Ark when it came to floating and all that. But when you see her covered in blood and killing these people who have wronged Wankru, it's very evident that you have broke the camel's back. Like, this was the final straw, and now because of it, you now have these gladiator fights where she is allowing those who wronged Wankru to fight for their survival, but in the way she had to fight for their survival in the conclave rule, where only one champion will walk out of the ring. So it was very telling. And also, as well as my favorite, was just Octavia's commanding presence whenever she's giving these speeches. Whenever she walks in, she dons that a leadership cap in front of the masses. It's amazing what she does, how she holds herself. Truly, Octavia has probably had the biggest transformation of all the characters. I mean, if you go back to season 1 to the "we're back bitches" moment, that is such a huge difference to have that Octavia to this Octavia, and I'm absolutely loving it. I can't wait to see how Octavia's like in the present day moment, since we only know her up to the 46 days. So there is that. Another favorite moment I did have, which it ties into that, is the fact that we got to see Jaha giving Octavia some advice about leadership, how he shed some light on to her about the way things were done on the Ark and why they were done on the Ark, especially when he brought up the fact that her mother got floated because she had Octavia. She broke the rule of having more than one kid, and that was because on the Ark, their common enemy was death. Everything they did was to make sure they survived, and when her mother had Octavia, that moved them closer to death, which made her an enemy. It turned her an enemy. It infuriated Octavia to have her mother brought into it, but it brought her clarity on the fact that this is something that has to be adapted to the way they're living now. They're all warriors under the bunker, with no war to fight. So now their enemy can't be each other. It has to be the common enemy of death. They are now living or fighting to survive in that bunker. So I really like the parallels there, as well as how he got her to kind of understand why certain things were done on the Ark and why they kind of need to be implemented again down here. Although Octavia did a different spin on how to do it down here. Like instead of floating, you have the gladiator fight and actually fighting for your survival type of thing. But it's very interesting, and I'm very glad they had that conversation before he died. Also, another favorite I liked as well in connection to Octavia was Indra's sole belief in Octavia's ability to lead, how she always stood by her, even against her own daughter. When Gaia doubted Octavia's ability to lead and how she's not meant to be the true commander, Indra kept defending Octavia, kept defending the fact that she fought for us, she's the one who saved us, she's the one that would lead us to our survival type of thing, and I really love that belief. They've definitely come a long way since season 2, for sure, and I'm loving that dynamic. So there is that. Moving on to top 3 peeved moments. I mean, I like the whole gladiator fight thing, don't get me wrong. I like the fact that they have the opportunity to fight for their freedom. I just don't know about the whole champion. Like, it's good if someone is wrongly convicted and they win their survival. But, like, what if it's someone who's trying to cause a riot or trying to cause such an upheaval and they win the champion? What's stopping them, or them being named champion, what's stopping them from repeating their crime again? And just being sneakier about it. Like, that's the only flaw, and that's why it's a peeve for mine, because I don't know if that's been tampered with, and that does lead to a question I will bring up in a moment. But moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back at this episode, Octavia's one crew motto: you are part of one crew, or you are the enemy of one crew. Choose. That whole comment, I probably butchered it, but it's proper on screen right now. But anyways, random question. So the first one, which I was talking to with my peeve, was the fact that for these gladiator fights, do they have a 3 strikes rules as to how many times you can go into the gladiator ring? Because what happens if you have someone who is a repeated offender, let's say, and he goes in, they win, and then he repeats his offense, and then he goes back in again, and he wins again. And then he keeps doing that, killing everybody and becoming this champion to the point that there's no question that they're going to win. You have this repeated offender who's always giving a free pass, and yet he's still doing crime. So it's like, do they have a system set up where you can only be in the ring, you can only be declared an offending champion like a certain amount of times before you are killed no matter what? I mean, there has to be a cutoff, because otherwise that person is just going to be slipping by. They're going to keep doing crap. They keep doing crimes against wrong crew. And if they're strong enough of a fighter, they could evade death for so long. But there has to be a cutoff point. And I'm wondering if they have that set up in place. I hope so, because otherwise there's going to be some sneaky little offender just going like, oh, I can just kill my way to safety every time I do a crime, and then like I can be safe that way, yet do my criminal business. So I'm wondering if they have that loophole corrected. Second question was, why is Cain in the gladiator ring in the present day sequence? What did he do? I mean, you know that this has been set up for the last 6 years, and yet I doubt that Cain has brushed up on his fighting skills, and yet you're risking yourself to go in the ring? I mean, what did you do exactly? So there's that. And then that last question was, is in the 6-year portion, is the boy that Gaia was reprimanding at that gladiator fight, telling him not to cheer, was that Ethan? Was that the little boy that Jaha was taking care of in the 46-day portion and asking Octavia to take care of? I think it's Ethan. I don't know why they would feature Ethan not only in the 46th day, but also feature that moment of Gaia reprimanding him if he wasn't supposed to be him. I mean, his hair is darker than it was blonde when I was a kid, but I can't think of anyone else it could be. So there's that. So moving on to predictions very quickly, based off the promo for 503, it shows Clark being captured and tortured by the Eligius criminals, prisoners. I don't know what to call them because I can't say Eligius. I think I butchered that again. But anyways, we see Arkers, that is Bellamy and co, trying to get to the bigger Elegius transport, and yet one of them has to stay behind, apparently, on the Ark ring. So there's that. But based off the synopsis, it reads that Bellamy leads the charge, investigating a potential way home. Meanwhile, Clark and Maddie deal with the new uncertain threat to their home. So from all that, Maddie wasn't shown the promo when Clark was captured. So I'm wondering where the hell she is, if she was captured to begin with, or if she's left in hiding to her own devices to try to figure out a way to save Clark. But the Elegius prisoners seem to think that Clark has people, so that there's more out there. So there's that. Also, another question of who will be left behind on the ring. I have a very bad feeling it's going to be either Monty or Amori, just for their technical, logical skill and purpose. Because it's definitely not going to be Raven. She has to be on the transport to see what's going on there. And Bellamy's leading the charge. He won't be left behind. So there's that. But otherwise, that is pretty much all I have to say. But what did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think is going to happen next. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place, so go check that out. I am behind on updating. I am aware. I'm going to try to get back into it very quickly. It's just work is picking up because of the season right now. But otherwise, WordPress, everything I post online is connected to WordPress. Link for that is down below. It's more organized, but it is a work in progress as well. So keep that in mind as well. But otherwise, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what I have to say about 503. Until then, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.